this to you.
Ha, man.
Battles of Power. And today is Matt Duffy's keynote. It's always great. Matt's a great resource for all of us. I heard he and Tom talking earlier about a question Tom had with a specific scenario, and he had the answer like that. Years in business, 20. Previous job types, farming and restaurants. Amanda, who is here, is a spouse. Thank you very much, Amanda. Jacob, 16. Lucas is 12. JC is 9. Hobbies and interests. Holes in ones and putting holes in deer to help lower our coverages here in Southern Illinois for vehicles, so that way I don't hit them. And then his burning desire is to help his clients achieve financial security. And something here no one knows about him. I've mentioned it before, but I know the number's changed. 16 countries he's played golf in. I think I played golf 16 times. It's amazing. The key to success is working for his clients.
Thank you, Chris.
Yep. Oh yeah. We're gonna do this.
Thanks, everybody. Let's just wrap it up. Hold on, don't wait.
Okay. I got it.
But yeah, you're good right there. You can hold. So obviously the storms are top of mind this week, and that's what I'm going to focus my talk on because it's serious business. It's tragic. People lost their lives, their everything, but it's important, and I know it's top of mind. So I'm not trying to. I told Amanda this morning it might be kind of tacky, but I'm not trying to take advantage of the situation here. But it's serious. And it needs to be discussed. So the title of my talk today is going to be "What If We Were Mayfield?" I'll have Tom play a quick 1-minute video from the storm that went through Washington, Illinois just a couple years ago.
I couldn't ask for a better agent, for a better company in a time like this, in a disaster where you have no idea where to start.
I learned that there's not a given in life. It takes a team. There's people that are going to watch out for us and that care.
It's been pretty stressful. Once we saw Lori and got our plan, it's a lot better now.
It was like a huge weight lifted.
So I've got 6 topics I'm going to try to get through today. In no specific order of importance, probably except number 1 at this point is most important to the people in Mayfield, Kentucky, and Dawson Springs, and Edwardsville and around. Homeowners insurance is probably the top thing that's being discussed right now in those areas. And the amount of coverage you have on your home, I know you've heard me talk about this before. We're already in a time when building materials were at an all-time high. Hugely inflated prices on building materials. Contractors are in huge demand because people are building houses. So already before this storm happened, if you were going to build a house in Mayfield, Kentucky, it was going to cost more than it normally would have, and you were going to have a hard time finding a contractor to do it. Now that this happened, those things are exponentially higher. It's going to be near impossible to find materials and near impossible to find a contractor to build a house. So with that being said, most homeowners insurance says if you have your house insured for $150,000 and you get a bid and it's $250,000, too bad. I mean, we're going to pay you $150,000 and you're on the hook for the other $100,000. And that's what's going to happen, unfortunately, in most of these situations. And it's that extreme. And the people are going to have to borrow that extra money to build their house back, only if then it's going to appraise, and have the ability. It's going to be rough for those people because of those situations. The other thing is your homeowner's insurance covers cost to clean up. Well, typically, if you have a homeowner's claim, it's not that big of a deal to clean it up. But same thing, these cleanup crews and these companies that do those things are gonna be stretched thin, and it's gonna cost more and take more time to get that build site ready to go. And it just keeps compounding that problem. For me, there's only one answer. So Country has a policy that says if you insure your home correctly, and it's insured correctly at the time of the loss, which is my responsibility and your responsibility, we will pay whatever it takes to rebuild your house. It's unlimited. If you had your house insured for $150,000 and it took $500,000 to replace it, we'll pay it. No questions asked. I don't know of another policy out there that works that way. Some policies say we'll go 20-25% above the coverage limit. Ours is unlimited. And that's what those people are going to, unfortunately, Country doesn't do business in Kentucky, but if that storm came through Southern Illinois, the Country clients in that situation are going to be replaced and no questions asked. They're not going to have to go borrow more money. The other thing is too, that adds to this, and this isn't really, I don't have an answer for Country, but almost every insurance policy I've ever seen says you have 12 months from the day of loss to get this claim settled. That's going to be a huge problem. And I don't have an answer for it. I think what will happen is the companies will grant an extension, but the contract language says you have 12 months from the day of loss to settle a claim. That's what I'm going to spend the most time on, so I'm glad I'm halfway through already. So those are a few things on the home. Personal property, which is everything. If you turn the house upside down before the storm blew it away, everything that would fall out. You have coverage on your homeowner's insurance for your personal property. I see a lot of policies come across my desk where that personal property is not insured for replacement value. It's insured for actual cash value. So what that means to the insured is, if you have a lightning strikes your refrigerator, you might get $300, even if a new refrigerator is $2,500. Which, if it's just that refrigerator and you're not $2,200, you'll get over it. You'll be upset about it for a few days, but eventually you get over it. If it's everything in your house is depreciated 80%, it's bad news. We put replacement costs on every single policy. So in that example, you would get the $2,500 for the new refrigerator, but also for everything else, your clothes, your furniture, everything. And that could be hundreds of thousands of dollars in a total loss. If lightning strikes your fridge, it's not a big deal. It's not going to change your life. But if you get half a payment or less than half on your personal property, that could be huge. The other thing is, it's a prime example of why everybody should have a video inventory of your home. Because if a tornado blows your home away, the insurance company's going to hand you a blank sheet of paper and say, tell us what you have. And you've got stuff 100 miles away, literally. Take a video of everything you have in your home and save it to your phone, so when you get that blank sheet of paper, you can write down the things you had. Because the insurance company is not going to pay you for your stuff if you don't put it on the list. The other thing is, people tell me all the time, I keep everything in my safe. Guys, this storm took cars 10 miles. Imagine how far it would take a safe. And people have cash and jewelry and guns and important documents in their safe. If an F4 tornado comes through, you might as well have it on the front porch. So have a list of that stuff, and it's important to insure those things even if you keep them in a safe. Auto insurance, the one big thing I know you've heard me talk about is the keeper. So if you have a car and you have a claim that's totaled out in a tornado or fire, theft, whatever it is, the insurance company only owes you what that car was worth. So if the car was 3 years old and you paid 30 grand for it, and you lose it, you're probably going to get 15, or something like that. You're driving off the lot, you appreciate it. Not at this moment, but normally. Country has a policy called the Keeper that says if you have a new car, 4 model years old or less, and it's totaled, we'll buy you a brand new car. So in that example, you paid 30 for it, it's worth 15. A new one's 40, we're going to pay you 40. That's especially important right now with the way the cost of new cars are. There's some people down there again that are going to really get hurt on their car insurance because they didn't have that coverage. He says I got 2 minutes. Man, this goes fast. You've heard me talk a million times about boats, trailers, and ATVs not being insured. They're not covered. So these people that had their boats, trailers, and ATVs in their garage thinking no big deal, and their boats, trailers, and ATVs are 10 miles away, too bad. And it's literally pennies to insure that stuff. Literally pennies to insure it. Obviously, I'm going to talk about life insurance. you know, at a time like this, it's so stressful. It's what the people in the video were talking about. It's the most stressful time of their life. And if they lost a loved one, it just adds to that stress. And to have the cash available to take care of that final expense just is going to relieve some of that stress. And imagine if you have multiple deaths in a family and you're trying to come up with that money. And all the fundraising efforts that are going on to build the communities back, and you don't have the money to pay for a funeral. There's no excuse for somebody to not have enough life insurance for their final expenses. Hey, I want to get through this in my time. So my last point is, and the video portrays this, especially in times like this, local representation is so important. You can buy insurance in 10 seconds online, pay it and be covered, and all is well. But when something like this happens, and there's thousands of homes lost, to be able to call your local rep, go see them, your rep come and see you, it's such a stress reliever to know you've got somebody there to take care of you. All my clients have my cell phone. All of our adjusters are local people. Now, in a storm like this, we're going to bring in storm adjusters, but you see our adjusters in the grocery store. They live and work in our communities. They're local. We're a local company. You can always get a hold of a live person. and as a rep in Jackson County, I have a vested interest in the well-being of my community. And if something like this happens, the country's going to be on the front lines, taking care, writing checks, when other people are going to be trying to search for their agent online. So, again, review that stuff. If you're worried about your friends and family and your parents and your children and grandchildren or whatever, let me go talk to them and make sure that if something like this happens, the country will be there and take care of it. And it only took 10 minutes. Wrap it up, he says. I'm wrapping it up.
I have a question. Might as well look right at that.
It's really I have a question if I get to go first. So you just said, hey, it costs you pennies to insure boats, trailers, ATVs. I agree 100%. I mean, that goes for life insurance, any kind of thing, because it's really pennies to protect the dollars versus that, but you know, just preaching what you said. What happens after 4 years on that car keeper policy?
So the keeper's good for 4 model years. So if you buy a brand new car today, it's good for 21, 22, 23, 24. At the end of 2024, that coverage goes away and your car is insured like any other car. So if your car was 4 years and a day old in that previous claim example, you would get the 15 grand.
Now, let's say, like you said, if you bought a car today, but it was a 22 model, does it still go from the
4
day?
model years. It doesn't matter when you bought it. So it'd be 22, 23, 24, 25.
Okay.
And it doesn't matter when you buy it. So if I bought a 2020 today, it's good 21, 22, 23.
For the full year?
Yep.
Of that year?
First policy period after it's 4 years old, the coverage goes away. And it's minimal. It's like $1 a month. The biggest one we ever had, a guy lost a car. It's worth 22 grand. We paid him 110 grand for a new Audi.
Wow.
So that coverage paid him 90 grand extra. Kim?
You talked about doing like videos of everything that you have. Is there a certain like process to do that, or
You
just,
could literally hit the video button on your phone, walk through your house.
I mean, you like open your drawer.
Absolutely,
I mean, like, what do
Yep.
absolutely.
like,
Because
what
here's
do you
why:
mean?
they're going to ask you, "Tell me what you had in your kitchen," and you're going to have to say, "Literally, I had 8 forks and 8." I mean, you might be able to say I had an 8-piece kitchen set, but
Right.
literally closets, cabinets, drawers, the garage, the attic, the basement. I mean.
And it's tough to think of all that if
You
you
can't
don't
do
have a
it.
video.
And these people, so much stress in their life that you couldn't
Right.
possibly make a list. And if you don't put it on the list, you're not going to get paid.
So you talked about a safe. Like, I mean, are you better off to do like a safety deposit box somewhere?
Well,
or?
on things that you for sure wouldn't want something to happen to. Those other things you can insure. Because people say, I don't need to insure my guns, they're in a gun safe. Guess what? I don't need to insure my loose diamonds because they're in a gun safe. Yeah, and they're 3 counties over. Somebody's already opened that safe and emptied it out.
Yeah, yeah.
I heard yesterday a lady found a dog 25 miles away,
Yep.
still alive.
Well, I can, yeah. Well, I can tell you from example from the '82 tornado, our neighbor, they had return checks coming back in from Massachusetts. So, and up there too, where I have friends working there at the strip, they had their diamonds in the safes and everything. All the safes got blown open. Now, to this day, the field behind Town and Country up there is probably full of diamonds somewhere. Can't find them. They're gone. Everything's gone. The safe, they don't know where the safe ended up.
Safes are really good to prevent theft. Really good. They don't help in a tornado or a fire. I've seen it over and over. Jenna?
And then kind of like a two-part question. First, do you guys do rental insurance?
We do.
What, I guess, does that entail if you're in a situation like that? Does that help you at all?
Yep.
One of my
So
girlfriends.
the cool thing about renter's insurance is, and this is going to be a huge thing for them, your home insurance and your renter's insurance, if you have a covered claim, will pay for you to live somewhere else until you get back.
Okay.
So even if you're a renter, if we owe you money on a claim, we will pay for you to live somewhere else for a while. But then the other two big things renter's insurance covers is all your stuff. So again, that example, turn the house upside down, everything that falls out, that's your stuff. The person that owns the building is not responsible for that, the renter is, so we'll cover that. And then also liability in case you hurt somebody and get sued, which is not relevant to this conversation, but if you don't have renter's insurance, then you don't have liability insurance. And if you hurt somebody, you're in trouble.
I have a question, but before that, I've heard you talk about this before in the past when storms have come through. And it has to be the peace of mind for you knowing that your company backs up what you say, and the peace of mind for your clients knowing that they can get answers from somebody local. That has to make you feel, for sure, wonderful. And it's hard to talk about these things, as you said. It's hard to talk about these things in the moment.
Sure.
But then people don't want to talk about them when they
Not in the moment.
until they've been touched by it.
Yep.
So I know that's you've always stressed reviewing those policies and having those conversations up front. And people often don't pull the trigger, but I know you have story and it's hard to talk about that. But I appreciate everything that you do. I have a question, a little bit on a different subject. Who was recently put in the Hall of Fame for Country?
I haven't been put in yet, but I qualified for Country Financial's Hall of Fame last week, and it's a really big deal.
That's awesome. That's good job.
It's 23 years of high-level production, basically, and yeah, pretty big deal. Officially, it'll be in February, but it's official.
Congratulations.
Great job today, but how many deer have you killed?
Actually, I have only killed one doe this year with my bow.
Period.
That's it.
Period. Good luck.
Oh,
A
hell.
bunch?
Uh,
Now, next question.
200.
How many hole-in-ones have you had?
0.
So you're better at killing deer than hitting.
For sure.
Have you deer hunted in any other country?
No, I almost went sheep hunting in Hawaii, but I chose golf instead. But I've killed deer in 3 states.
Okay.
So yeah, thank you everybody.
All right, thank God.
All right, man, Matt killed it, didn't he? Right? Awesome stuff, timing. Life is interesting.